Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Near Mint Hockey Card Podcast. I'm Elan and Dubrofsky. With me is Ryan Krieg. Ryan, episode 5 already? I feel like we just started this thing.
Yeah, it has flown by. I don't think I've thought about hockey cards this much, and it's just like consuming, right? Big show tonight. I was loving the research I did, and wow, there are a lot of young guns out there to kind of look at all their values, and I wish I did this a little bit earlier, actually.
Yeah, the plan for today's show, by the way, we should probably say what it is. We are going to be going over some players that we think are undervalued, and specifically their young guns. So we're going to talk about some players that we think you could buy now and sell later for more money. And obviously, this is just our opinion. No guarantees.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are our guesses. And yeah, I guess everything I've bought, I'm hoping is undervalued, at least, or was at the time that I bought it. And I've bought quite a few cards over the past month. So yeah, we'll try to zero in on some players. It'll be fun. We haven't even shared our lists with each other. So this is going to be fun, even to see if we have any duplicates or maybe any big disagreements would also be fun.
Yeah.
Before we get,
I'm super excited to see what you have to say. And it wasn't that easy, to be honest, to choose.
When you say it wasn't that easy, is it because like you had to narrow it down to your best 5 and you couldn't decide, or was it just like not easy to decide on different players, like whether you think they're undervalued or not?
No, it's more like trying to narrow it down, and there was a lot of players that I thought could be undervalued, and you kind of have to look at like comparing them. It was a good exercise because you get to compare players and see, oh, okay, this player is actually a lot less. Why might that be? And kind of think really critically about why a player's value is what it is, and then kind of think, is it undervalued or overvalued?
Yeah, it's a good point. So that'll be actually an interesting part of the discussion, is just to get the reasoning for how you found out. I'll be interested to hear what this research was and what you did for your comparisons. Before we get into it, one small piece of news that I wanted to ask you about. I've been seeing pre-orders on sale for 2020-21 Upper Deck, like boxes, even though the cards haven't been released yet. And I'm just wondering, like, I'm seeing it on sale for like $100 for a box of cards. I have no idea. Like, is this a good deal? Like, if this is being pre-released, does that mean that if I'm ordering it pre-order, am I getting a better deal than if I wait to buy it later on? And also, I guess that's my one question, is like, is it good to pre-order these boxes, or is it the same? And also my second question is this going to have any good young guns? Because there haven't been any games. Like, I would have assumed that Alexis Lafreniere is the key gem of this box in terms of young guns, but he hasn't played. But I did hear that he's like signed with Upper Deck, so theoretically they can still put him on a card. I don't even know what any of that means. So maybe could you just give us a download of everything you know about these like boxes and pre-ordering a future set?
Yeah, so the new pre-order boxes of Upper Deck Series 1, I think buying them like early is not going to get you a deal necessarily. It might get you the boxes when they first come out, and that might actually end up being tough to get like on release date, but I don't think they'll go up at too much in value whenever they restock. A lot of people do invest in the boxes, so that might be what they're doing. They're getting in at the price that Upper Deck is giving, and they'll like resell that box at a later date if it happens to be a good box. My thing with this upcoming series is, to be fair, no one has confirmed or denied this, but I don't think the stars from this draft are going to be in it. They might make an exception somehow to get Lafreniere in there because this box is so kind of dead of superstar young guns. I think the original plan was to include guys like Kivi Ranta, or basically guys that were rookies that were there in the bubble, because there was no draft between the last series and this series. So they're kind of in a hard spot. None of these players have played for their teams yet. So personally, I'm kind of waiting and seeing to see, is Lafreniere going to be in it? If he is, then you want to get this box. But I kind of feel like he's going to be in the Series 2 release for 2020-21.
In which case, this is like a totally worthless box, at least for young guns, unless you're hoping to get an autographed McDavid or whatever inserts they throw in there. But yeah, interesting. But I didn't consider that. Yeah, you could just buy a box of cards. That's very interesting, right? I could just buy a box of cards, not open any packs, just have it sitting there, probably tempting me every day, just staring at it, wondering what's inside. I wonder
Yeah.
if there's any technology, like Superman had that ability to do the X-ray vision. Was his X-ray vision so good that he could like look in a pack of cards and see what's in it?
Well, so that's actually a great point. The the good thing with young guns is they weigh the same amount as every other card, so you can't really do this. But uh, typically, you want to be buying boxes or tins because you can't weigh them, or you can weigh them, but they'll weigh the same. Versus if you buy like a single pack, uh, sometimes people will weigh the single packs and be able to tell because it's slightly heavier that there's a big hit in it. If you think about like those extra thick cards, for example, you might be able to figure out which pack has something valuable in it. But with hockey, with young guns, because it's just a regular card, there's no real way to understand until you open it up.
I mean, we sent a man to the moon. You'd think we could figure out how to use some sort of infrared technology and see if you have Connor McDavid's beautiful face on a 15-16 Upper Deck pack. But I guess, I don't know. Once the technology gets there, Upper Deck is screwed. So they're going to have to come up with a whole new thing. They'll have to put a black, I don't know, piece of paper in between each card to block whatever smart people come up with. Anyways, okay. I was just curious to get your thoughts. Sounds like if you think that there's a chance that Lafreniere will get there, sounds like you pre-order. And if you're thinking, oh, that's a big gamble, I'm not the type of person to buy packs or boxes because it's basically like you might get it, but you might not. And it's worth nothing. Like what Ryan's saying is you could buy the box and sell the box after it's confirmed that Lafreniere's there. Maybe wait for Lafreniere to have a great game, and you're almost like selling a Lafreniere card without actually having to get it graded. Can you get a box graded? Is that a stupid question?
Uh, you can actually. It's typically more for like, let's say the Gretzky boxes from forever ago.
Yeah.
You get the like condition of the box graded.
Would they look at each individual pack, or is it like
No,
do
no, no.
do
They
you
don't
want to keep
open
it?
it.
Oh man, but how can you know? Like, I feel like I would want to touch the packs and see if the cards feel like they have sharp edges. Anyways, that's a whole other discussion. Okay, we have a plan for today's show, so we should probably get into it, which is our list of our top 5. Even though my list is longer than 5, but we'll narrow it down to 5, I guess. Top 5 players that we think are undervalued. Do you want? I guess let's just go back and forth. Are these? I didn't order mine. Did you order yours? Do you have like a 1 through 5, or are you just going to throw me 3, 5 in random order?
Yeah, so I also have some extras. I have mine in order, but I wouldn't necessarily say like this is my 1 to 5. Like 1 is my top pick. I just ordered them for sake of sanity.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so same with me then. Okay, so how about you go first? Give us one from your list, and then we'll just go back and forth.
Okay, so my top pick is a guy that just won a big award for being the best goalie in the league. It's Conor Hellebuyck. $15 with shipping, with all the stuff included. 15 Canadian. Conor Hellebuyck. That price just blows me away. I was looking at some other goalies to kind of see where things landed. Tristan Jarry is $20.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Obviously, lots of other starters like Vasilevsky, even lesser starters are kind of higher. The other one that kind of intrigued me was Grubauer at $10, which is kind of interesting. And then one that like, if kind of honorable mention to like a flyer here is Malcolm Subban is $1, and they don't have another goalie yet.
yeah. Well, I actually am drafting in a dynasty league right now, and I just took Kevin Lankinen in a super late dynasty draft pick. And so I'm hoping that he's the one who takes over. I don't really have much faith in Malcolm Subban. So,
Yeah.
but as far as Connor Hellebuyck goes, it is weird, right? He just won the Vezina. Everyone is saying that he basically like got the Jets into the playoffs.
Right.
Like it's because of him. Like he played amazingly, and the rest of the team was garbage. I went like, and also I would have thought that he plays on a Canadian team. I thought the whole idea was these players on Canadian teams, their cards are worth more. But I don't think the Jets are in that list of teams who inflate their players' values, because I have a Jet also I was planning on bringing up that I might as well just I'll do it now as an honorable mention. But like Nikolai Ehlers, I've been getting his cards for like I think like less than $10, like $8 for a raw Young Guns, and then I bought a PSA 10 for like $40-50, which is like basically the minimum for a player you've heard of.
I know.
And I feel like he's also like a big star, but like Connor Hellebuyck's an even bigger star considering what he just did. But the reason
it's wild that like he's the best goalie in the league as per voting in last year. He's been that goalie for how many years now? 3 to 5, I would say. And yeah, I mean, before this year, the Winnipeg defense was pretty solid, but this year they had injury after injury. Bufflin decided to just say bye. and Hellebuyck carried them.
Yeah, Matt is even saying in the chat, Kyle Connor is another one I'm looking at. You could get
Yeah.
his young guns for like less than 20. I'm seeing being sold for. So, but my question to you would be like, are we talking about just cards that we think are undervalued in terms of like, why is it so low? I don't know. Or are we like actually giving tips of like ones we think you should buy? Because my question is, if Hellebuck is less than $20 now and he just won the Vesna, then like basically, are we just saying he has to go on a long cup run and capture the nation's attention for this like card to go up, which isn't an impossible thing, right? You'd assume at some point the Jets, put in the, though I actually think that they sort of had a short window that's kind of closed now, and now they sort of have to retool a little bit, especially with Wheeler getting older. But yeah, is that the only way that you can imagine this Hellebuck card like paying you back for your investment? Because like I don't know, like, or do people need to see it again? Maybe did he win the Vesna? People are like, okay, but let's see if it's for real. Like, if he wins two Vesnas, then he gets to be in the same category as who did you say was so much higher? Like,
Uh,
obviously Vasilevsky is crazy, but
well, even Tristan Jerry is
yeah,
$5 higher.
Jari, who's never really done anything. He had a decent year last year. People are obviously buying in on him just because Matt Murray's gone and now he's the for sure starter. They're excited to see what he'll be able to do. But yeah, like I just don't get it. Like I just don't foresee the reason why I haven't been buying a bunch of Hellebucks even at this low price is just I don't really see a way for it to go up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I did make my list thinking about which players could go up. It's not just like, why is this player so low? I think Hellebuyck is maybe one of the safer picks on my board because there's no way he's going down from 15.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to go up almost for sure. And at worst, you break even. But I think, like, he's a goalie that is solidified. He's going to be great in the league for the next few years. The Jets, even though you say they're in a bit of a retool, their defense cannot be worse than it was last year, and their offense is probably going to be better. So, all things staying the same, he's again one of the top goalies in the league. I think the Jets should get a little bit more of a bump in hype as they like continue to be an exciting team to watch. So Connor Hellebuyck, I kind of feel like his cards will go up to 30, 40, maybe 50 in the next even year or two.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay, so bold prediction. I'd like to see it, but I guess yeah, the Jets have to maybe win a playoff round, and maybe that'll do it for him.
Right.
Another, by the way, name I'll throw out there. How about Neil Pionk for like $1 or $2? You can get
Yeah.
his young guns, and he's likely going to be once again their highest scoring defenseman. No one cares about the Jets. That's my takeaway, except Line also maybe you could even make an argument that he's underpriced. Like, obviously he's a lot higher, but still like less than $100. Like I think
Yeah.
that he's around the same as like Braden Point or someone at this point. I have to check and see.
He's cheaper
But
than Point, actually. I was looking at him as well, potentially. I think you can get him for under 50,
yeah, if you
which
could do that.
is pretty decent. And even Shifley, I think, is around 35. So yeah, the Jets definitely seem to be on a discount.
Maybe the idea is you want to be getting Jets players who you are hoping will get traded or sign somewhere else because maybe there's no value, or maybe the Jets need to do something. Maybe we've just been waiting. They still haven't gone far in the playoffs. They had that one year where they made it against Nashville in like I guess before the conference finals, and then they beat Nashville, then they lost to Winnipeg. One of them lost to Winnipeg or lost to Vegas the year that Vegas made it to the Cup finals. But
I think they lost
that
to Vegas. Yeah.
Yes, that was the one year where it seemed like the Jets really had it. And it seemed like they were going to be like a team that was going to keep rolling year after year because all their guys like Line were like brand new. And then somehow it all kind of fell. I guess Dustin Bufflin leaving out of nowhere was a huge hit to them.
That hurts.
All right, so that was fun. Let me go to my next undervalued card. And this is one I do think will go up. And I was actually shocked. It's one of these players that I haven't thought about much because he's been in the league like forever. So I would have assumed this was going to be like $100+. And then when I saw how cheap it was, I scooped one up and I'm thinking of getting more. I'm talking about Andre Kopitar on the
Wow.
Kings. So I won an auction of one of his cards for like $16, $17, basically Hellebuck level is what we're talking for Kopitar, less than 20. You see some auctions going for higher. And I think or I see some buy it nows, or like, I think sometimes it's going for 30, but it's because people probably are like me assuming it should be worth that much. So if you don't do the research, you see a $30 Kopitar Young Guns, like, of course, like if Nick Suzuki is going for 60, how can you not want to buy Kopitar? But I feel like the reason he'll go up is, first of all, I think the Kings are like on the cusp of not being terrible anymore. So we might even get another playoff run before he retires. Maybe not next year, but they just got Byfield. They have some other like Turcotte from the year before. Like they have some really good young players. So I think there's a chance that in his career he goes up. Even if not, like, I just kind of feel like he's going to make the Hall of Fame. He's had a great career. Like, people are going to be talking about, he's like the only Slovenian superstar. So if you just
Yeah.
need to go to Slovenia in the worst case to make back your return on investment. And I'm sure you could sell it for higher there. So I don't know. I'm surprised he's so low. And I feel like at some point you buy a Kopitar in good shape for like 20, $25, get that baby graded. I'm sure you could sell that for $100, $200, especially around the time he gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so I agree with you and I disagree with you. I think Kopitar is an excellent buy right now for when he retires, for that Hall of Fame induction, which, as you say, he's almost guaranteed to get, considering he's the only Slovenian and he's been a superstar forever. Um, but I think the Kings are going to be dreadful for the next year to 3 years. So I don't think he's doing much, and his value won't like this coming year. That value probably won't change unless the only thing I could see that changing is like if the entire sports card market continues to go up, then his value will go up. But that's not really because of him. And with Byfield joining, maybe he's second line center by the time their team is good again. So he's not even really the star on the team.
Yeah, I get that, but I still feel like even if he's like on the team when they go on a cup run, that would probably still be helpful because people are going to be so
Oh
excited
yeah,
for him. But I get what you're saying, and yeah, I guess it'll depend. He's not like too old. I'm trying to just bring up his age here. I know he's in his 30s, but let me see here. What's
I
his
would
age?
guess he's 33, but that's a ballpark. Um, yeah, like if I'm looking at a shorter term investment, I don't think I'd go Kopitar, but I'm totally with you on investing some of these guys that will make the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
And actually, one that I didn't put directly on my list, but I think is kind of a huge steal right now, is you can get both Sedins, draft the Sedins for $20.
What?
And those guys are
That's
going straight into the Hall of Fame this year, right? Like,
And I've been seeing Jonathan Taves cards like going for so much more. And Taves is awesome, but like,
yeah.
I'd have thought he'd be the same as like the Sedins and Kopitar.
Well,
By the
it's
way, I should mention, and maybe you could tell me if this is true about the Sedins. I just looked now. I was looking at eBay like sold prices, and Kopitar is like I said, like around $20. But if you actually want to buy one now, I'm not seeing like any auctions, and all the buy it nows are
right.
for inflated prices. So it might be one of these guys where you kind of need to just wait for someone to put it on auction because I'll bet you all these buy it nows aren't going to get buyers because I haven't seen any sold items for like $60, but that's what people are hoping to get. So maybe just the people with these Kopitars are just thinking if I just list it over and over again at $50+, maybe someone will bite. But yeah, I got mine on an auction and
Yeah,
yeah, not seeing one right now.
with some of those older guys, you definitely have a problem of there's not enough out there that people are selling because they're not like the new hotness. So I might suggest looking at other avenues besides eBay if those are the kinds of guys you're after. You might be able to go to like card shops. You might be able to go to Facebook groups and find a trade or a deal there because those cards are probably in the hands of collectors who just have them and they aren't
Mhm.
selling them because no one's talking about them.
That's fair. Yeah, just they're gonna wait unless they could get this inflated price. They're just gonna wait until there's some buzz around him because maybe they saw the recent auctions didn't go for that much, so they're thinking, "Why am I gonna sell my Kopitar for only $20?" Maybe they're thinking the same as what I'm thinking. I'm gonna wait and sell it when the price goes up. Actually, I had another guy that I wanted to add to this list because I assumed that. So this will be another just honorable mention, but it's like someone I assumed will be cheap and that you'll be able to buy now and it'll go up. Then I actually went to look at his prices, and Jacob Verana on Washington, who
Yeah.
I think is like very close to a breakout. Like all he needs is a spot to open up on that top power play, and it's got to happen at some point. Like
Yep.
already, I believe that Kuznetsov was being bumped last year, and Verana got short stretches. But yeah, Verana right now, like you're looking at least $20 to buy his rookie card. It's all again like buy it nows. I but when you see like auctions that happened in the past, it did sell for like $2-3. So I don't know, like
Yeah.
if I actually just set a saved search for a Verana Young Guns auction, and I'm just waiting for one to appear. Well, now I guess the problem is we're doing this podcast, and especially this episode. Now maybe other people are going to save
Everyone's
the
gonna
exact same
watch.
search. We're gonna bid against each other. But
Yeah, he was a guy on my list too, and I looked at him probably 2 weeks ago, and I kind of backed out because I figured he's ripe for that breakout. But $20, like especially doing an exercise like this, you can spend that $20 elsewhere.
so yeah, some of these you just have to sort of maybe set a search and just check it out every couple days because you can't buy it like right now. Some of these we'll be talking about ones you could buy right now, and some of
Yeah.
them you might have to wait for it to go on auction, and then just hope that the people you're bidding against aren't the people who listen to this episode.
Well, that actually leads quite well into my next one, my second pick, which, if you're diligent, you can get for the same price as Jacob Vrana, $20. You might have to spend 25, but I think you'll be okay. And this guy's name is Matthew Kachuk.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
So, Calgary's leading scorer last year. Guy is always in the news. He cannot not make the news. Scores goals between the legs, does stuff to get himself suspended, has brothers and a dad that are famous. Like, this seems like free almost.
I mean, yeah, and Calgary seems like a good market. Like, I think people like him.
Right.
Like, I've gone in on a few auctions with him. I've probably bid like 5 different times on Matthew Kachuk Young Guns, and they ended up going, like you said, maybe 25, 30. And I was like thinking, oh, I'm only going to go 24, whatever. Maybe that was dumb. Maybe I should have just like locked it in for some. But yeah, like also I think that Calgary, if they move away from Gaudreau, like people are saying, like all of a sudden Matthew Kachuk is like the clear star. Oh, there it is. What a beaut. Yeah. How's the condition on that?
I got this out of a pack. I don't see anything wrong with this Matthew Kachuk that I got. The only thing is, might be slightly off-centered, but this year is really, really hard to tell.
Okay, well, Kachuk, I'm with you. I think that he should go up. And you know what? I'm gonna just double down and make my next guy Brady Kachuk, because
Yeah.
he's like selling for like around the same price right now. I think like $20 to $30 for a raw version. And like I feel like he's like Ottawa's not going to be terrible forever. I think people sometimes like assume that teams that are bad now are going to stay bad forever, like Detroit or LA or Ottawa. But it's like these things are cyclical, and like Ottawa's a special case because it's possible their owner will just always sell any good player they have as soon as they have to pay him. But I think that Brady Kachuk is going to be the star of this team, and like at some point, if they make the playoffs and Brady Kachuk is the one that leads them in, he's on a line with, I don't know, I guess Stutzle on one wing, and I'm not sure yet who the center will be for their top line.
Drake
But
Batherson, maybe?
yeah, is he? I thought he was a winger too, but I don't know. Maybe
He might
not.
have
Maybe
been
he could do
used
both.
there.
Yeah, so I don't know, Colin White. Maybe they even get an upgrade at some point at center. They have the cap space to sign one out of free agency if they ever decided to do so. But yeah, I feel like Brady Kachuk. I feel like just this and the Sens, like we both grew up in Ottawa, right? The Sens
Yep.
have a lot of fans when they don't suck. Like people get very excited. So I think both of these Kachuks have room to grow, and it's surprising they're that low. And one other thing about Brady that I'll say is last year he had a ton of shots and like a lot of shot attempts and a very low shooting percentage, which in fantasy we generally say this person maybe suffered from some bad variance, and it's possible that he'll regress to the mean, but like in a good way next year. Or even if he just plays the exact same, he could maybe go from like this like 20 something goal pace to be like a 40 goal scorer without actually even having to change his game, just having a bit more luck. And you'd expect him to get more than that anyway, because he's going to get older himself. At some point, I think the line mates around him will be a little bit tastier than what he had last year. So yeah, I think that both of these Kachucks are looking good. I actually would buy Brady before Matthew, but I would want both of them.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Matthew because they're the same price and he's more of an obvious win. But you're right, the Ottawa hype is still real in the card world. Those cards are inflated by the Ottawa Senators, which is a little surprising if you consider, Calgary or Winnipeg being on kind of a lower tier, with all the news and things that have happened in Ottawa and their team just being terrible. They still have hype in the hockey card world. So yeah, I think Kachucks. I think we nailed it on those two.
Yeah, find a lot. Maybe someone selling both. By the way, Stoken's in the chat. I wonder if this is someone we know, but he said Brady's the better player. I'm 300% sure.
Ooh, is he 300% sure that he's 300% better?
do you multiply it then?
I don't know.
Oh, it's Alex. Oh, hey, I love it. We have such a fun group here joining us live. How's it going? All right, so what have we done here? So you did okay. So I guess it's back to your turn now. We've already gone through. I've already done Kopitar and Brady Kachuk, and you've done Matthew Kachuk and you did Hellebuyck. I think those were
Yep,
only our only official ones. So now we're on
they
number
were.
3 of 5.
So my third one, at a similar $25 value, is Mika Zabinijad. Guy that
Oh.
scores goals like crazy. He now is going to be playing with either Panarin or Lafreniere, which is decent. And his right wingers aren't slumps either. He's got Kako. He's got Buknevich, I think, is the other one.
Yeah.
And their team is on the rise. So I don't see why his value would not go up from $25.
Yeah, I just did an episode with Scouching about the draft, and we ended up for Keeping Carlson, my fantasy hockey podcast. And so we were just like talking about all the prospects, and like we were just like drooling over how good the Rangers are going to be, because they're set on forward. Clearly,
Yep.
they're like pretty set on D with like Adam Fox, Keandre Miller coming up. Like Fox already had a great rookie season. Plus you have D'Angelo had that great offensive year. So like they're, that's been their biggest weakness, and it seems like they're going to have people to come help plug those holes. And they have Shesterkin in net, who's
Yep.
going to be a big star. And like, I want to buy Shesterkin's cards. His cards are just, I don't want to say they're overvalued, because I think he's great, but they're definitely like priced into him being already awesome, because you're like looking at $50 plus to buy it. So I'm not going to like recommend to buy a Shesterkin, but all that to say, and I'll let you respond about Shesterkin. But like in general, yeah, I think the Rangers are going to be a team that goes on a deep playoff run like pretty soon. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And I've got a Ranger on my list.
Oh,
So and it's
interesting.
not Shesterkin, but I think that Zabinijad is a great buy. I guess again, my fantasy hockey brain that concerns me a little bit with him is he just had this like amazing monster season where
Yeah.
he, like, in terms of pace, he would have like been a 50 goal scorer, right? Like, among the
Yeah.
best in the league for goals. And he had a really high shooting percentage. So that makes me concerned that maybe he'll regress a little bit. And if he does worse next year than he did this year, maybe then his card like goes down or stays the same, but hopefully that gets counteracted by the Rangers going on a deep playoff run.
Yeah, I think the hype train with New York is going to be high too. And it's New York. It's already one of the biggest markets. So he'll get like a little bit more spotlight just by association with, like, everyone's just going to watch Lafreniere all year long. And who's he going to be playing with? I kind of doubt they're going to put him next to Ryan Strome. So maybe they will, but actually he's not even signed yet.
Also, it's like, maybe at the very start, like again, in my interview with Scouching, he was saying how maybe like at the start, Lafreniere starts on the third line, to ease him in a little bit, especially since they have Panarin and then Chris Kreider already slotted in on left wing. But yeah, it won't be long before he's playing with some exciting players.
Oh, and your Shesterkin point, he is $50?
Okay, let me take a look right now in real time. I want to buy a Shesterkin. I'm going to look on eBay. I could do a buy it now, or no, I could do, buy now for 45.
Okay, 45. So, like, would you rather have one of him or 3 of Conor Hellebuyck?
Well, this is actually a very interesting question, right? Because I think Shesterkin could win a Vezina, which is like which is what Hellebuck's already done.
Yeah.
But it's like, if Shesterkin is already this high, I mean, this is something we need to learn like over time. I feel like I've been reading some articles this week, but Ryan, you'll be proud of me. I'm trying to do some more research into this aside from just like following hockey. But like, see, this hockey card boom has started pretty recently. Like McDavid apparently has like doubled in price over the last few months, or like since the pandemic really took off. Which I don't know if that's really a good word to use for a pandemic, but I don't know. But okay, yeah. Like, so I don't know, like Shesterkin has so much buzz right now. People are so excited about him, and he like hasn't even done that much. He's played like 10 games, but I think he's for real. So like if he goes now next year and is a Vezina contender, I would assume that means he goes up. But of course, then you brought up the point that Hellebuyck just won one and he didn't really go up by that much. So
yeah, and let me give you the comparables. So Carter Hart is going for, I believe, about 75 or $80.
Yeah.
So, and he's like the hottest hotness in goalies there is right now. So the best that you can do with Shesterkin is like a $30 increase if he lights the world on fire.
Well, we still haven't. I think the thing is going to come down to the playoffs, right? And like the notoriety. Like Philly hasn't gone on a deep playoff run. Like Vasilevsky is the hottest of the hotness, right? Like he's going for well over 100. And usually so I feel like, and then don't even get me started on like Carey Price, who I was thinking of buying a Carey Price because I like him, but like a PSA 10 Carey Price is like heading towards $1,000 on an auction I've been watching for the past few days. But It's a good question. Like, I guess I'm a little skeptical about Hellebuyck, like, to be honest, because I also think the Rangers are a lot closer than the Jets to
Sure.
do something. And I also think that Shesterkin is like probably a better goalie. I don't know. I mean, again, like goaltending is so hard to predict,
Okay,
but
so
Shesterkin,
I
yeah.
have an idea. I have a Shesterkin card. You
Okay.
get 3 Hellebucks, and then we'll trade them.
Okay, you know what? Let me see what I could do. I'll try to find some good discounted Hellebuck cards, and
All
then
right.
I might consider it. Like I'm not, but anyways, that wasn't my Ranger. So you said Zabinijad, who I'm not disagreeing with, though I'm a little concerned about. I'm gonna give you a Ranger. I'm going right to the top. I guess I can't say Lafreniere because we don't even know what the
No.
price is. But I'm gonna go to give you the next best thing and just say Artemi Panarin right
Yep.
now is not that expensive. Like we're talking, like I bought a couple already for around $40. Like some auctions go higher, but I've been able to get less than 40 for Panarins. And unlike Zibanejad, I think what Panarin did last year was totally sustainable. I think he's like the real deal. And I think that he's going to lead this team in point. Like I could see him taking the Rangers to the playoffs like next year or the year after, going on a deep run. And it's like him and sure Lafreniere is the guy getting the big spotlight. But like I don't think Lafreniere is outscoring Panarin for the next couple seasons at least. Like it's going to take some
Right.
time, I think, for him to get to like one of the top players in the whole league. I can see Panarin, by the way, also potentially contending for the Art Ross like he did this year. Like I don't see why he can't again, especially now if he has better players to play with. So a couple of Panarin, dude, are you made of money? I'm telling you, $40. But I have okay again just to remind everyone, I started my hockey card journey by selling a Gretzky rookie card for 1,200 that I had since I was a
Yep.
kid. So I've had a bit of money to play with. I think I've pretty much spent all of that 1,200 by now, but not too much more. Like I think I'm about even right now, and then I'm gonna wait to sell all these cards and then make my huge profits. But yeah, I want to get my Panarins graded, by the way.
Hmm.
But anyways, I don't see how he doesn't go up because I just think like already he's awesome, but like for some reason he's not at the same level as the other stars in the league. Like
Yeah.
Elias Pettersson is higher, and like I guess it's because he's younger and people think like he has higher upside. But like and maybe Pettersson's on the Canucks and they have bigger fans. But I think like you said, the Rangers hype train I think is going to take off when they actually start going on playoff runs again. And yeah, I'm into
Yeah.
Panarin.
Yeah, I don't mind that as a pick for sure. I was kind of looking at him and backed off a little bit when he was a bit expensive, but no, I think if you have a bit more to spend, that's you can't go wrong with Panarin.
Yeah, I guess yeah, we're upping the budget a little bit to go with him. I think that's the most expensive guy on my list. It should be Kopitar. It's really unfair that Kopitar's not costing more, but that's it. We lamented how Mark Stone's cards
I
aren't worth as
know.
much as they should
I
be. So it's
know.
like, but I don't think Stone's going to go up, so that's why he's not on my list.
Well, that's actually a good segue to. I'll skip one. The fifth guy on my list is the most expensive player on my list by a landslide.
Okay.
His cards go for about $240. Can you guess who
Okay.
it is?
So just a raw Young Guns is
Yeah.
240. I mean, that like really narrows it down. There's not going to be too many. I'm thinking it could either be someone newish, like it could be like a Drysidle. Maybe I know you're an Oilers fan, but I'm imagining you're not going to say Drysidle.
He's like double
Kucherov.
that. Drysaitl's like 500. It's crazy.
Oh, that's too much, I
Yeah.
think. Is it Kucherov? Oh, Austin Matthews is a guest from Matt in the chat. Is it around
Matt
that era, or should I be going older?
Matt in the chat is bang on.
Ah,
Austin Matthews,
boom.
$240, which is under half what McDavid is going for. And more interesting, his PSA 10 is $550. And when you look at McDavid, his are over 1,500. So Austin Matthews, arguably the best player on Toronto in the Toronto market. Uh, they have nowhere to go but up. Obviously, the Leafs have not put it together, but he's got a long career ahead of him. He's going to score a buttload of goals. So I only see that going up, and I see that going up by like a lot.
Also, I like maybe this won't happen because it hasn't in forever, but you would think at some point the Leafs should win a playoff series,
Right?
which would probably help their players' values, right?
Yeah.
Because like imagine like people already get excited about them when they're just having a great regular season, then they hate on them because they lose in the first round to Boston or more recently Columbus. But yeah, if the Leafs could ever go on a deep run, you'd imagine like this Matthews, you would be able to sell for quite a bit more. I'd be nervous to buy the raw version just
Yeah.
because like if it's PSA 9, like what's a PSA 9 Matthews
Mm,
selling for?
I'm not sure, but PSA 10 at 550, like I might go do that.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying PSA 9 is only selling for, I'm seeing less than 300. And you said the
Yeah,
raw one is like, two,
240.
yeah. So at this point, like, it's like nerve wracking to me to buy the
Yeah,
raw unless you're like super confident you're going to get a PSA 10, because otherwise you might as well just resell it raw rather than go through the hassle and then
totally.
potentially like not even be able to get much more for it.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
I agree
I
with you. If you really have the budget, then just buy a PSA 10 Matthews for 500. It's probably a better
right.
deal than buying the raw one. But of course, then Matthew's going to be tearing his hair like, you guys are both giving me useless advice because this is way too much money. But we're
Well,
crazy.
you got to serve both ends of the spectrum. I only included one in that range, and it's harder to find good value at that price point. Like I think McDavid will also go up in the longer term, but that's like right now I don't see him like going up by a lot in the next year. Um, but yeah, personally for me, cards that when their base card gets over even like 60 $75, I'm turning to the graded cards because the risk is just not worth it to me. um
Yeah.
so graded cards, like, yeah, I'm kind of maxing out at 40 $50.
You mean ungraded? Yeah, that makes sense.
Sorry, ungraded, yes.
Yeah, it definitely does make me nervous. The most expensive one I've bought is a Pedersen for $70,
Right.
which looks good to me. But yeah, I really want to ship that off and just get that sealed in a case. Hopefully, it has a 10, which we're gonna do one day, right? We've been talking about it. I'm actually
Yeah.
still waiting for my Panarins to come in the mail. When I say I have two
Ooh.
Panarins, they're both Panarins that I've purchased from auctions and I'm still waiting for. So once they come, I'm ready to set up our shipment, and that'll be so fun to try to predict what values we're gonna get. One problem we haven't solved yet is, and maybe a listener could help us give us advice. What if Ryan and I want to combine our shipments in order to save on
Right.
shipping and whatever? What if we both have the same card? How will we know whose is whose?
Yeah, like we both have this Matthew Kachuk, and like there's no, like they're hopefully mint, right? So there's no like discernible difference.
Yeah.
There's no barcode or anything, I don't think.
I wonder if we could, we'll have to like message PSA maybe and
Maybe
ask
there
like,
is.
can we label the case and then have them come back and like tell us like which one was the one labeled in what case that we send it in as. So
Um,
are you
I
saying that you do see a
I just
barcode?
realized that there's a number on the back, but I don't know if it's an identifying number of the card. So the back of this one says DJ9HN. Um,
That's for your Kachuk?
like it's on in the bottom here,
Uh,
and I wonder if that's actually an identifier or if all the Kachucks say that. I
Well,
need.
let me bring up one on eBay right now. I'm looking at the back. So where do I see this? Oh, DJ9HN. The one I just saw on eBay also says that.
Okay, so it's the same. Damn. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's
I
a
think we're gonna need. I think the only way would be for PSA to let us like, put a sticker on the like case that we ship it on, and then have them tell us which one was which. It must be something like that. But yeah, let's contact them.
There's got to be a way. Like I'll be able to find this out on the internet, I'm sure, because there's people that send in group submissions to
Yeah.
PSA.
They must
So
have saw that. Matthew is saying here, maybe ship them all in the same box, but with smaller box inside. Yeah, but I'm just thinking if they're going to take the cards out and put them in their grading slabs,
yeah,
they're not going to be like, by the way, this was the one in the smaller box. Maybe they will, right? Like,
maybe they
so.
will. I don't know.
All right. So where are we here? You said it's Zabinijad. I said Panarin. So now we're on to number 4. Oh, then you already gave your number. You already gave one in Matthews.
Yeah,
How about I'm going to go to the total end of the spectrum. I'm going to give you a guy that's you could get for $1 or 2 right
nice,
now that I think is going to go up. So this is our penny stocks.
excellent.
And people who listen to Keeping Carlson already know maybe or can guess who I'm going to say. But can you guess? You listen to Keeping Carlson. You came. I was just going through our Keeping Carlson Ultimate Patron Fantasy League standings from the past year. I'm starting to get my spreadsheets together to prepare for next year. You like ranked, I think, 3rd or 4th in your division of tier 2 or tier 3. Like, you're
Yeah,
up there.
yeah. I'm climbing the ranks. I'm coming for Division 1 in the Cupful.
Yeah. Well,
But the
be
one
careful what
dollar
you wish for.
cards, yeah, right. The $1 cards are so hard to like. There's so many of them.
Okay, when I say $1, I probably mean more like $2, but like,
Hmm.
in that range. It's a guy who I like, but I could just say it if you don't, unless you want to take one quick guess.
It's not Fiala, right?
No, Fiala I did have on my list. I didn't want to say him. He's on my like honorable mentions list because
Yeah.
I've already talked about him on the show. But no, you have to spend at least like $6-7 on
Okay.
Fiala.
Okay.
Matthew, by the way, has one of my Fialas, and I actually already have 2 other Fialas, so I have been
Hmm.
loading up on those. But no, even cheaper. I'm talking about Nikita Gusev over
Yeah.
on the Devils. He's a
Interesting.
I think he's a really good player. He led the KHL in scoring before coming to the NHL. He's like a huge star over there. Then he had a lot of hype, by the way. New Jersey signed him. A lot of people thought New Jersey won last summer's like off season.
Yeah,
They
I
had so much hype
remember.
going into the year. They got Subban, they had drafted Jack Hughes, and they traded for Gusev. And then like a couple months into the year, all three of those guys seemed like total busts. Like, Jack Hughes in terms of like for that season. But the thing with Gusev to me is like, first of all, you just look at the stats from last year. And like, if you take off the first 2-3 months, he was more of like a 65-ish point player the rest of the way. I think it just took him time to get adjusted. So there's that. Plus, there's the fact that he actually spent a lot of time in the bottom six. I don't know what New Jersey was doing last year, but I'm going to hope that you have a star like Gusev. Eventually, you put him on a line with either Hischier or Jack Hughes, and, that leads to something. So I feel like you can't go wrong with a buck or two. And I could see this guy not theoretically, what do I say? Like realistically, he could be a 70-ish point guy next year or in a couple years, especially if he's playing with a Jack Hughes, who also eventually takes a huge leap. So yeah, I got myself a couple goosies, and
Goosies.
I'm gonna see if they fly me to profits.
Yeah, I like that. I like finding the value picks that are a buck or two, and I mean, Gusev should go up from there. I don't feel like he has like a crazy ceiling. Like, I don't think you're ever getting a Gusev to $50, for example. I'd be curious to look at the other players that came over from Russia a little bit later in their careers, or over from any other league. Like, if you look at Dadonov, I know his cards aren't going for a crazy amount. Even Panarin isn't going for a crazy amount. So is there any like kind of, we'll call them imports for lack of a better word, that have really done well in the card game?
I mean, I'm thinking like you've mentioned the big ones. There's Radulov also.
Radulov cards aren't that great. Like, it's kind of this weird, and Radulov bounced back and forth.
I
But I
wonder
want,
if Dadonov is a good buy right now. I totally kind of forgot about him, but he signed with the Sens. So
yeah.
maybe he gets in on some Sens hype at some point. Next season, he could be on the top line with Brady Kachuk. And right now, you can
So
get him. He's also like a buck or two.
I
So he's
know,
another
yeah.
cheapie.
I just sold a future watch of his actually. I had it on auction, and it sold for $7. A card that's numbered to 9.99. Like, it's a cool
Oh,
card.
I would have bought that
Like,
from you.
people are not interested. It was already on auction, but you should have gone and found it.
I gotta remember to check your auctions that you've got. I can save on shipping.
It's true.
All right, so I said Gusev. That was my number 4. So yeah, we each have one more left.
Ooh.
I have a long list of names I wrote down here, but I'm gonna pick my favorite. But you go first.
I have a long list of honorable mentions, and maybe we'll share them with everyone in the share notes, the show notes. We'll share them with everybody, and maybe even make a couple posts on our social medias. So
Ooh.
if you wanna see our longer lists, mine's probably 20-25 players. You'll get a little bit of extra info.
Okay, our social medias, by the way, are Near Mint Hockey on Instagram and Twitter. But okay, first, before we start teasing, we still got more show content to go. You got number 5. Who are you gonna give us?
Number 5, I have a guy that I've been high on. I've bought a few of. It is a guy on the team that just got Taylor Hall, Mr. Dahlin.
Oh yeah.
So I just think, this guy was the next best thing after Quinn Hughes this year, as far as like young superstar defensemen go. His point per game was just under Quinn Hughes on a terrible, dreadful Buffalo team. He was supposed to be the next best defenseman in the league. He just doesn't get that attention because he's still on Buffalo. Now, he's going to get better, so his value will go up kind of anyways, but maybe Buffalo actually starts to figure it out as they get these pieces together. I just see him going up. His cards right now are going for about $30 raw. But I'm actually keeping an eye on his graded cards because they're all under $100 pretty much.
Yeah, and like, you think of right now who are the hottest defensemen to buy, and it's Hughes and Makar by a lot. They both had their young guns this past season, and you could both get that. You have to spend like well over $50 to get their young guns, and like they weren't drafted first overall, right? Like Rasmus Dahlin was. They've landed into amazing spots where Hughes got to be with like Pedersen and go on this playoff run, and Makar, the Avalanche. How did the Avalanche get were the Avalanche actually that bad to have like the 4th pick overall the year that they got him?
They were
Man,
dreadful. Yeah,
what a what a
they
rise for this team.
yeah.
Joe
Um,
Sakic knows what he's doing. But yeah, so I like that like Dahlin is probably a lot better than what he's shown so far because now he'll have some better players to play with. Also, he'll just get better himself. He's only like 21 years old.
yeah,
And also maybe one day Buffalo actually becomes a team that gets into the playoffs and gets a little buzz around them because right now they're one of the teams that you kind of laugh about as just, oh, they're
yeah,
Buffalo, they're terrible. But unlike like LA or Detroit, it's like they've always been terrible for the most part. So they don't even have any like fun like history that you can like hope will come back again one day. So
yeah.
I'm with
You
you.
got to go back to the Hasek days before you start being like, ooh, they were fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I will say I was flip flopping between Darlene and Heiskanen because Heiskanen you can get for $25 to $30, so it's kind of comparable. And he was insane this last playoffs. I listened to an interview with their head coach Rick Bowness, and he was talking about Heiskanen as the next Hedman, the next best defender in the league. Like he's already their go-to player. So he's kind of my him or Darlene. I think I might just go with both.
Uh yeah, I don't know. I would definitely go with Dahlin over Heiskanen. I think Heiskanen's a really solid defenseman. I think he's like a really good all-around player, and like he did have that amazing run where he put up big offensive numbers. But I don't know if he necessarily has the, Hughes and Makar upside in terms of points that I think Dahlin does have.
Right,
Uh,
right.
so I'll
Yeah,
stick with Dahlin there for sure.
I ultimately agree. Darlene made my top five. So
Yeah. Also, I worry that Heiskanen is still right. Like, Dallas isn't going to make the Cup Finals every year. So,
right.
like, I wonder if Heiskanen's sort of like not doesn't go into obscurity, but maybe he falls into like sort of this like with the Hellebucks of the world, like really good players that for some reason don't people don't talk about that much because Dallas like generally isn't a team that's talked about that much aside from when they go on a miracle playoff run. Uh,
Well, and maybe that's a good point. Maybe Heiskanen is a great buy, but you wait a couple months and you get him at $15-$20, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden that's beautiful.
And like Dallas still has Klingberg, who I think still has shown that he's got a lot to give. And just in saying that, at least until Klingberg's contract is over, I wonder if they still spread the offense like the power play time pretty evenly. So I would wait. Yeah, I think there will be a time when Heiskanen, he's going to get in fantasy. Heiskanen's going to get drafted too high in leagues this upcoming season. I think people are going to be taking him as if he's like a top 5 defenseman. And I think he's probably closer to top 10, 15 in fantasy. I'd have to go through the list. So then people might get disappointed in him. Maybe that also leads to his card value dropping. And then, yeah, I think he'll be a good buy, maybe just not yet.
Yep,
Okay.
that's fair.
So my number 5, actually, I probably should have just said this when you brought up one of the players you brought up because it's on the same team and it's pretty much for the same reason. He's not as good, but I'm going to go with another Toronto Maple Leaf. And I'm going to say that I like William Nylander
Yeah,
as someone to buy right now because he's pretty cheap. We're looking at buy it nows for like $30. And, if you see a buy it now on eBay for 30, that means you could probably get it for like 20. I'm even also seeing PSA 10s for like under 100 or around, maybe I shouldn't say under 100, but like around 100, give or take. PSA 9, I'm seeing a buy it now for 55. So just to give you a sense of how much you can need to spend to get Nylander at different values and like, or different grades. And like, he's a good player. Like, I think that people like remember that year when he held out. That was a couple
yeah,
seasons ago. And then when he came back, he sort of had a weak finish to the season. And I think a lot of that stuck with people said, oh, he's overpaid. And now we're stuck with this guy. And he's not even good. But like last year, he went right back to being like 70 plus point guy. Like he had a huge season last year. And I like not to say he's as good as Mitch Marner, but I don't think he's like as far away from Marner in terms of their skill as like their card values indicate.
right.
So I think
Yeah,
it's just a matter of give me a full season of Nylander, give me a playoff run, just like I was saying I want to see from Matthews, and I feel like he would be a huge part of that. And like I could see him approaching the Marner values, which are super high.
yeah. Isn't it amazing that Toronto Maple Leafs are making our list? Like you'd think that those guys are untouchable as far as like hype and people having bought them, and they should be like crazy, right?
Well,
But
Matthews kind of is. You just said it'll go even higher. Like,
it will. But yeah, it Nylander, I think, yeah, a graded card at $100 is a sweet deal. He's a pure goal scorer, so playing with those guys, you'd think one of these seasons he's going to hit like 40, just purely by being on the ice with crazy talent and being a shooter.
mhm.
So yeah, I that's a good one. I actually have a kind of a sleeper on the Leafs that I think I might get a couple of. You can get Ilya Mikheyev for $5,
Yeah.
and he's likely to play with Jumbo Joe Thornton all year.
You think so?
So
Oh, I even had higher hopes for Mikheyev, actually. I thought he
okay,
was
sure.
gonna I thought he would be top six. Yeah.
Worst case scenario, Jumbo Joe Thornton. If he's even better, he plays with Matthews or Tavares. So like this guy, he had a great year. He's only had one real year in the NHL, I believe. $5 for a Maple Leaf that could pop off. Like imagine he starts putting up crazy numbers. Like any Leaf that puts up crazy numbers is going crazy.
Yeah. I mean, for like, yeah, again, for this low of a price, like you might as well.
Right.
And I think it's the kind of thing where if he goes off, like sell then. Like don't wait. Like sell as soon as you see it hit a you know hill, whatever you call
Yeah,
it,
I mean
a spike.
he's not going to be the cornerstone of the team, and there's a decent likelihood that he goes the Kapanen route where like he plays well and then they have to trade him because they can't afford him. But yeah, I think at least in the short term, you should see his value go up a decent amount from $5.
Want to hear something crazy? You were talking about Joe Thornton as being like he's gonna play with Thornton.
Yeah,
You would assume a Thornton rookie card, Thornton Young Guns, would be worth like so much, right? Like sure
sure.
Hall of Famer, like huge superstar. So his rookie card is from so long ago that I have one from like my previous time
Whoa.
collecting, like in the 90s. Like I stopped collecting around 96, 97. That's like his rookie card is from 96, 97 Upper Deck. It's like says program of excellence on it. It's him like
Yeah.
sitting with his fist under his chin, like some smug little pose. And that card is worthless. Like we're talking less than $10 to get a Joe Thornton rookie card because it's just from I guess that era when everyone was buying cards.
Right.
But I don't know. Everyone's buying cards now. Like I don't even know what it is, but like I have a Thornton rookie card that I thought should be worth a lot. Like that was one of those ones where when I took out my box from storage and started going through my collection,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like I know this is gonna be worth a lot. Then I looked it up on eBay and I was just like, what? Are you kidding me? But like I'm seeing it's like buy it nows for a lot of two sold for $13. Like, oh, come on. But what can you do?
Yeah, that is kind of strange. And is that like his true rookie card?
Yeah, the one that says program of excellence on it is I believe that's his rookie. That's what I know. When you search for Joe Thornton rookie card on eBay, that's the one you see.
So that's his Team Canada one,
Yeah.
which is technically a rookie card, but I don't really see one for him with the Bruins.
Well, I think this is the thing with the way things used to be. I could educate you a little bit on how things used to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
please do.
it used to not be that like there was a card called Young Guns that was the
Yeah, yeah.
official rookie card. It was just sort of like the player's card in their first year, like the first year that they get a card released, that's their rookie card.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened a lot. Like Teemu Selanne has a rookie card from like playing on a national team before his rookie seasons, like 91, 92 Upper Deck has a Selanne rookie card. And we all know Selanne scored his 70 plus goals in 92, 93. We all know this, but his rookie card is from the year before. So I don't know, back in the day, things were different. But maybe you're saying that there's another Thornton card. Find me a Thornton non-insert card that's worth more than $10. I don't think it exists.
Yeah, I assume that is the card, but maybe it's so rare it isn't on eBay and you just have to look elsewhere to find out what it is. But you're probably right. There's definitely players even today that don't have what you might expect to be their true rookie card. Like I was looking at Mike Hoffman's and he doesn't have a true rookie card. And there's some guys that just don't. And especially, I think there's a cutoff when you get to Joe Thornton era where it's a lot less clear which rookie cards are the rookie cards, and the people that were a part of the sports card industry back then kind of decided which ones were his true rookie cards.
Yeah, like
So
I was a collector of Beckett. Like I got a Beckett guide every month in the mail, and it did label like which cards had like it would say RC beside it, and this is the one that said RC for whatever it's worth. Hey, but by the way, anyone listening, if you want my Thornton rookie for $20, I'll give it to you because apparently that's a huge overpay on your part, which makes no sense because we're talking about Mikheyev might be a good buy because he's playing with Thornton. But anyway,
yeah.
okay, so those are our lists. That was a blast. Hopefully
great.
we're going to help people get rich, but probably all we've done is helped people bid against us in upcoming eBay auctions when we go after some of these players. We need to have some sort of code or some sort of way. Maybe, oh no, I guess we probably shouldn't do that. I was thinking like in the Keeping Karlsson Discord, like hockey card channel, we could all like just like say which cards we're bidding on, and then everyone else will know to back off. But I feel like that would probably not even work, because then I would see that someone is bidding on a card like, oh, that is a good price. And all of a sudden now I'm just being alerted to a card that I wouldn't have known about otherwise.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know what eBay has to say about that from a terms of service perspective.
If they knew that this
I don't think that's
agreement existed.
really supposed to be how it works. But yeah,
Right.
I was thinking about this list. I made this list. I don't even have some of these cards. So I need to take my own advice here and look at some of them, because I mean, I have a few Dahleens. I have a couple Hellebuycks, but I got those out of packs. I didn't try and get them. They're in the same tin as McDavid. The
one that I don't have is Nylander.
Yeah,
the ones I said, and I'm trying, guys. I'm watching some, and please don't outbid me if you see a good price Nylander, because trust me, I know about it.
You know about it. Okay. Good to know.
All right, so this was fun, Ryan. So how about this could be it for the show? Maybe we can stick around for the after show, which people can always check out after the fact, either by going to Ryan's Twitch stream, Chell_ify, or we have our YouTube channel, which he uploads really awesome edited with, like, they look really nice, our YouTube videos. So not Keeping Karlsson, nearmidhockey.com/YouTube to get to our YouTube channel. Like we said, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at nearmidhockey. Come hang out with us in the Keeping Karlsson Discord. So yeah, it's all linked in the show notes how to get to all these places, and we'd love to hear from you. So that's episode 5. And let's see if we can do 5 more in the next 5 weeks. I don't see why not. We're not stopping, right? I think there's a number, Ryan, of like, once you've done a certain number of episodes of a podcast, then there's a good bet that this podcast will like stick around for at least like a couple of years. I don't think we've hit it yet, but I think it's around 8.
We have to get to kind of like our tipping point where it's going to continue. I don't see this stopping, because I could probably talk about hockey cards every single night of the week.
Right. Yeah, it's not like a ton of work that we're not already doing.
Right.
So that's why it's like a easy one to just keep going. And yeah, I'm good to keep going as well.
I wonder if we could do a top 5 overvalued, or if that wouldn't be as useful.
I mean, it could be. Maybe it's not useful, but it would be a fun discussion. It would be useful if someone has one of these cards, and then we can tell them you should probably sell it right now.
Point. Yeah, that's a great point. It's like a sell now. These are way too high. Maybe that would be more interesting during the season, though.
Yeah, but we still got a lot of weeks before that. So maybe next week we'll do our top 5. And if you have any suggestions, by the way, we'd love to hear from you. What cards do you think are undervalued right now? And also, I'd love to hear from you what cards you think are overvalued, to give us our content for the next episode. You have a few behind you that I feel like are a little bit highly valued, like Dominic Kubalik, who I like, but he's selling for a lot more. And like, he had a great stretch, but I would need to see more before I expect him to just be like a for sure superstar. He's one that I'm just looking behind you. Is that Giroux on the?
That's a Giroux.
Yeah, he's not that much. So he's good. Maybe Svechnikov's a little high, but he's really awesome. So okay, that's a sneak peek for the next episode. Great chat, and yeah, thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you all next week.